Hi, you guys, and welcome to Shante's Corner, where we are here to uplift, support, and encourage each other. So today, I wanted to talk with you guys about a topic that's is very close to my heart. It's been a lifelong struggle for me, as much as my disability. Unfortunately, they kind of go hand in hand. And that's my weight issue. So anybody here who's ever struggled with weight, you know it's a process. It's a lot of times it's more the outside pressures than the inside pressures that causes the issue. And even, my smaller friends, they've dealt with things like people, putting them down for being so small, but I've always unfortunately been on the other end of that, and it's hard. People think that, oh, just lose the weight, just push the plate back, just go exercise. Well, a lot of times people that struggle with weight have done those things. Like I said, if you've seen some of my posts before, I was on my first diet at the age of 9. And I've always been that child that's been overweight because I've dealt with a lot of self-confidence issues, self-worth issues, rejection issues, just not being a happy child. And a lot of times people don't realize that's where a lot of issues with self stem from your childhood. And that's pretty much where mine began, because even when I think about it now, I remember the first time I learned that I was different, quote unquote different, of not having the same vision as everybody, didn't happen until I started school, because I thought everybody saw the world the way that I did. So when I learned that I didn't have vision in my right eye just like everybody else did, it was like a crushing moment for me as a child. And it's about to make me cry, because I just remember, like, for me, my second grade picture is one of my favorite pictures from my childhood. And after that, I hated taking pictures. I hated the way I looked. And there's not any pictures of myself pretty much as a child that I liked. I hated pictures. And even as an adult, I still struggle with feeling that I'm beautiful. And it definitely takes a lot of prayer and just knowing that God loves me to even get through it. I'm trying not to cry here already. But yeah, like I said, that struggle has been a lifelong struggle for me. It's led to a lot of depression, a lot of suicidal attempts, always being the largest one in the class, never feeling pretty enough, good enough, smart enough. I wasn't the smart cousin. I wasn't the beautiful cousin. I just was the fat girl, and that's how I felt. I was the fat friend, just somebody to hang out with, but I never felt beautiful. And I remember I didn't even start losing weight until my first year in college. And usually, like, that's the freshman 15 where everybody gains 15 pounds. But for me, it was the first time I actually had success losing weight. And so I remember I left high school, I was 223 pounds. And by the end of my first year in college, I was down to 150. And it was just, you would think I would be happy, and outside I was, but inside I was not, because I was still getting those things. You lost too much weight. You look like a crackhead. What's wrong with you? You need to eat. And it's like, okay, either I'm too big or now I'm too small. I look like I'm sick. So what do you want from me? What do you want? It's like I couldn't do anything right. Everything I did was wrong. And I ended up gaining that weight right back the next year, all of it plus some. And for me, I just went right back into that state of depression, and it was even worse than it was before, because honestly, even though I had lost all the weight, I wasn't happy. I still saw that fat girl. And like I was just telling you guys, I went from being the fat girl to now you lost too much weight. You're too skinny. God always tends to do stuff in my life is relocating. Like I tell you guys, if you knew me at one point, you would know I was the relocation queen. I just sold my house in California, where I stayed there 5 years, and that's the longest I've ever stayed in one place. So it took for me relocating from the small city I was to kind of restart, and that's what it was for me. So I got back, I lost, like, that's one thing I can say. I've never had the problem of losing the weight. I know how to eat, I know how to exercise, but the struggle for me has always been the maintenance. And that's what I struggle with. I can get the weight off, but I can never seem to maintain it, to keep it off. And that's like one of the biggest things that I want to get control of just being able to maintain that weight loss. So like I said, I relocated, went back to school, got my associate's degree, started working. And that wasn't a happy time either. You know, had a lot of issues that I'm not going to dwell with that in here because that's not what this is about. So, like I said, I lost weight, gained it again, lost it. So in 2010, I want to say I was to the point where it was really bad. And I had already started the process of getting ready to have the weight loss surgery. And if any of you guys are familiar with, I had the gastric bypass back in 2010. So that's actually, I started chronicling my journey on YouTube, and I did YouTube for a while. Actually, was pretty successful with that. So doing that, I journeyed my weight loss from being over 300 pounds to getting down to almost my goal at 150. And that time I can say it truly was a different, but I still wasn't happy. And this is pretty much, and even just seeing this makes me cry because I still wasn't happy. I still didn't have the joy in this picture. Like I said, I did this before. I've gotten down to here, and like I said, the maintenance part is always the hardest part for me. But I did maintain this for a while. And when I went to California in 2013, because I had surgery in 2010, in 2013 when I went to California, I was 158 pounds. So I had maintained it at that point. And then I relocated, and God just did some things in me during that time. And so going through all of that, as I told you guys, I have the issue with not having a menstrual cycle. So I had to get back on the birth control. And I remember immediately thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to start gaining this weight back. And it did happen. I started gaining the weight back, and just dealing with the depression again. And I'm so thankful for my pastor and for my sisters in Christ. And you know, even before I came out here to Texas, I had to deal with that because I was in a state of depression. But the thing with this depression is it's not like what I've dealt with back in Georgia. Thank God it never got that bad. But it was bad because I was into the point where I wasn't accepting that I'm struggling. And it's hard, you know, and just to be like, you know, I've heard people say, oh, you have that surgery and you can't keep it off. Well, if you know me, you know I still can't eat a lot at one time. I get sick if I eat too much. So I still eat very small portions, but my issue has and always has been is the snacking. And the sticking to the exercise. So that's my thing. I want to get back to exercising like I'm supposed to, and the not having the junk. So I'm actually doing better with that now. I'm trying to eat a whole lot more salads, but being that I had gastric bypass, I have to have protein. That's like the biggest thing for us. So I still don't do a lot of the carbs comes from my chip. I like chips. And so that's part of where my carbs come from. But we, you know, having had gastric bypass, I have to have the protein because I still do malabsorb, and I do have to watch my vitamin levels to make sure that I am at where I need to be. Because right now I do struggle with the iron. My iron tends to get very low. And one thing also about having a gastric bypass, I went from one extreme of having a high blood pressure to having to deal with the low blood pressure to make sure my blood pressure doesn't get too low. Also, I dealt with the sleep apnea, and I didn't mention it before. That was before I had the surgery, where I would just fall asleep in class, and it was really bad. Like, I remember one of my friends, she was sitting beside me, Shante, wake up. You know, we didn't know, but that's before I knew I had what it was. But yeah, the sleep apnea would make me just fall asleep in the middle of class. Just sitting up, I would fall asleep. So having those medical, that's why I'm so grateful that I had the gastric bypass. And it frustrates me to hear people say, oh, you took the easy way out, you're lazy. Like I said before, weight loss is a journey, and I worked my butt off to get that weight off. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy to even have the surgery. There's a lot that you have to go through before you even have the surgery. So that frustrates me so much when people who haven't even ever had a weight issue tries to tell you that you're taking the easy way out. That doesn't help me. You know, you telling me I need to push the plate back. You telling me I'm taking the easy way out. That doesn't help me. It hinders me more than anything. It pushes me more into depression than anything. So encouragement and support is like, come on, girl, let's go, you know, eat a salad or go walk or go do something, but not telling somebody to push a plate back, go to the gym. That's not helpful. And so I just wanted to share with you guys that today, to just think, like I always say, your words speak. Think before you speak those words out, because words kill. Words are more deadly than hitting somebody and just hitting them. It's more deadly. Those words penetrate parts of you that hitting somebody never will. So before you speak that word, think of what you're saying. Think of whether you're putting a blessing in the atmosphere or you putting a curse in the atmosphere, because your words could cause somebody to take their lives, and that's not what you want to have on your hands. So as I always say to you guys, let your words speak, let your words uplift, let your words encourage, let your words support, and let your words not cause harm, danger, hurt, but be that comforter to that person. And if that person's you know, just remember that you're not going through this alone. There's those of us who been down that road, and those of us who continue to be down that road. So I'll leave you guys with that today. I know this has probably been a little longer video, but yeah, like I said, if you guys want to know anything more about what I've said or what I've shared or my journey and my testimony here, feel free to reach out to me, leave a comment, DM me. Yeah, so again, let your words speak. Have a great day.